This madness has to stop, and it stops with law and order. People across the country, they were protesting highways, blocking access to airports. Let's check out what happened with these pro-Palestinian protests across the country. Let's see how some Florida police officers handled the situation, what's happening in California, and how residents feel about it out there. Let's check it out. You know, seriously, what? I don't blame that lady for flipping him off. What if you have to get to the airport for a to make your flight? You don't want to miss your flight, no matter what the reason is. You have to be there for. But imagine you have to get to an important work meeting, a family member who's in medical care or something like that. Maybe a funeral. It could be anything. Could be a vacation planned, and you have these morons blocking the streets. Now, I want to check out what how some Florida police officers handled the situation when these morons were laying in the roads in the middle of the day. You love to see it. You love to see police officers taking control of the situation. It says in Florida, however, obstructing the roadway is a first-degree misdemeanor, punishable by up to a year in jail and a fine of up to $1,000. Officials across the state have stressed that the tactic is not an acceptable form of protest in Florida. No, it's not an acceptable form of protest. You can't just block highways and roadways, obstructing traffic. You can't do that. It's not okay. I want to talk about what California is doing. Now, CHP is looking to crack down on this, which is good. I'm happy about this. But last time this happened, there was a deal made with protesters and the district attorney to basically avoid jail time. Let's check it out.
Protesters got arrested today. CHP says they were working with the district attorneys in 2 counties to file a variety of 8 charges against those arrested. Many will have to fight misdemeanors and citations in court, but some could even be charged with a felony. I spoke with a former prosecutor who says these charges make it seem like CHP really wants to crack down on protests like these.
I implore people, please protest. We're here to protect your rights to protest, but you cannot block roadways. You cannot keep emergency personnel, whether it's ambulance or law enforcement, fire department, from getting out to assist other people.
Stern words from California Highway Patrol after arresting 38 protesters Monday. They were among hundreds of people who disrupted traffic for hours at 3 different locations in the Bay Area, all calling for immediate ceasefire in Gaza. 26 people got arrested after blocking all lanes on the Golden Gate Bridge. 7 people got arrested on I-880 in Oakland after a group locked their arms into 280-pound concrete barrels in the middle of traffic lanes. And at the 7th Street exit of I-880, hundreds of protesters walked onto the freeway. 5 people got arrested there. CHP says the protesters now face a slew of charges, the most serious being conspiracy to commit a crime and false imprisonment, which surprised legal expert Stephen Clark.
Now, I'm glad that the people are being charged, but I don't have much hope because of what happened last time around. Let's check out another video in the Bay Area, getting more detail about this, and it's also going to show what people on the roads on the Golden Gate Bridge, the Bay Area Bridge, said about this.
Liz, we saw this just late last year over on the Bay Bridge. We've seen it again now. So clearly we're involved in a contest of cat and mouse between the protesters and law enforcement. If you were trying to cross the bridge here or drive up 880 today, you are simply caught in the middle.
I'm sympathetic, and I understand the cause. I do. And I just wish I'd have left 20 minutes earlier. I'd have missed all of this.
Just short of the bridge in a sea of cars going nowhere, one driver trying to reach family on the other side.
I'm going to try to get through. My daughter needs me. She got 4 little ones there, and I'm supposed to be helping take care of them while she's working.
Yeah, work over the bridge, so, not many other options. Think about the ferry.
The hours dragged on. People started walking their dogs and striking out for supplies.
Yes, it's an Uber, and he's lovely.
Our poor Uber driver.
And amongst the crowd, a constant chatter about the protest that had stuck them all there. Some were sympathetic.
Yes, it's an inconvenience, but it's also an inconvenient to be a human being in Gaza right now.
Stop arming Israel, which I think we should stop arming Israel, so I'm in support of that.
There was also plenty of frustration.
Well, my thing is civil liberties should be protected, but there is a limit. And when you have this level of a disruption to our whole transportation system, I think we need to draw a line.
Well, he's absolutely right. There needs to be, you need to draw a line with that. You can't just block protesting. I'm all for the First Amendment, obviously. But you can't block people's access to places where they're trying to get to work, family members. You saw that one guy saying he had to get to his daughter to watch her kids. You can't do that. You just can't.
Attempting to block or shut down a freeway or a state highway to protest is unlawful. It's dangerous.
The Highway Patrol says it thought something was coming, but they did not know any specific plans. The deterrent, they say, should be aggressive prosecution, thus the extensive charges.
And 236 of the Penal Code, false imprisonment.
But protest organizers were very clear that this action was not the last. Here is a spokesperson talking about what comes next.
We're going to keep pushing until people pay attention. We know from our history that people's actions work, and they won't listen to us unless we hit them where it hurts, which is in the economic region. And so we're going to keep pushing, and we're going to keep disrupting.
See, people like that are just morons. You're going to disrupt people's lives. You're going to disrupt people's way of living, hit them where it hurts economically. You're going to stop them from going to work and making money. You're going to stop them from supporting their families. They're going to take care of family members, take care of grandkids while their daughter goes to work. It's unacceptable. People like that, are the problem. Wearing a mask, first of all, wearing a mask in broad daylight like that in 2024, there's something wrong in the head. You're sick in the head. I bet she's the same person with the Ukraine flag, who took all the vaccines with the Ukraine flag on her profile, now with the Palestinian flag and then the gay pride flag, which ain't nothing wrong with. I have no issues with gay people. I've never had any problems with gay people, but I'm just saying the LGBTQ flag, BLM flag or fist, all the virtue signaling stuff. She has all of that nonsense on her profiles, I guarantee it. So the district attorney made a deal with protesters last time around. Let's check it out.
Of course, we'll go to the Alameda District Attorney's Office. But if you remember from the November case, we just saw all of those protesters in court in San Francisco with a bit of protest surrounding that. And the District Attorney kind of cut a deal with those protesters. They essentially got to pass on the charges if they do some community service and stay out of trouble. So you can imagine someone somewhere is checking the names from today against that list to see if they have perhaps violated some agreement, if it's the same name that pops up. But you also have to wonder if there's some sort of escalation in the charges that are filed here. The District Attorney's Office tried to send a message with that case. Highway Patrol seemingly trying to send some signals today that they're not going to tolerate this. Do the charges get more intense? Does the prosecution become more vigorous? Maybe a question as we go ahead, Liz, here.
Yeah, these people got a slap on the wrist. Instead of avoiding real charges, jail time, they had to pay, I believe it was $4,000 in restitution. Don't know what happened with that. And then community service. I believe I read it was 5 hours of community service. I mean, come on now, seriously? This is why these people keep doing these things, because they know there will not be harsh punishments for it. Total nonsense. But check this out. Marsha Blackburn and Tom Tillis introduced bill to make blocking public roads a federal crime. I think this is good. The background of this is the Safe and Open Streets Act in direct response to radical tactics of pro-Palestinian protesters who have intentionally blocked roads and highways across the country. In November, protesters completely blocked the Durham Freeway in Durham, North Carolina during rush hour, stranding drivers and compromising the free flow of commerce. No arrests were made. That's crazy. You get in Mark Robinson in North Carolina, and this will stop. Late last month, this was during one of the busiest travel days of the year. Protesters blocked airport access to roads in New York City and Los Angeles. The Safe and Open Streets Act would penalize lawbreakers through fines or up to 5 years of imprisonment. And I think that's a great idea. I mean, if you notice, you're mostly seeing this in blue states. I mean, you're not really seeing it in places, like here in Texas, we crack down this nonsense. This is Texas Penal Code, let's see, Code 4203. A person commits an offense if without legal privilege or authority he intentionally, knowingly, or recklessly obstructs a highway, street, sidewalk, railway, waterway, elevator, aisle, highway entrance, or exit to which the public or a substantial group of the public has access, or any other place used for passage of persons, vehicles, or the conveyances regarding of the means of creating the obstruction, and whether the obstruction arises from his acts alone or from his acts and the acts of others. Liberals will get mad at that and saying, well, they, them, not his. I mean, look, we saw what Abbott did with the street racing, cracked down on that when it got out of control. Signed 2 laws cracking down on that, created a task force. Now you don't really see it that much. That's what we have to do. Law and order. Ron DeSantis cracks down on this. You can't let this happen. Protesting is fine. I'm all about freedom of speech, the right to protest. I've said that before. But you can't do this. This has to stop. Otherwise, they're going to keep doing it. And I would love to see this. I would love to see it as a federal crime. Put people in jail, fine them up to $1,000, whatever it's going to be. Sure, fine them $10,000. Impound their cars. I mean, and make it hit them where it hurts. Take their cars away and fine them thousands of dollars and put them in jail for 5 years. Yeah, that's my take on that. It's a bunch of lunacy out there. These wokesters blocking highways and things like that. It's not okay. All right, guys, going to leave the video right there. Thanks for listening. Like and subscribe. See you next time. Thank you. Take care.